Jamaica's under-23 team were surprisingly held to a 1-1 draw by the tiny eastern Caribbean island of Dominica on Wednesday. Before we go forward, I didn't write the script like that. It was written by our semi-Dominican, who's a part of the SportsMax Zone team. So anybody thinks I'm taking shots at my friends in Dominica, I didn't do it. The man from Dominica did it, so I just represented what he said. Back to normal programming? Yes, we shall go. So that was in Group A action at the 2020 Olympic qualifiers at the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex in Kingston on Wednesday. Jano Hope Toby struck for the Dominicans in the first half before substitute Nick Daly equalized for the Donovan Ducky coached young Reggae Boyz in the 54th minute. Dominica will next face St. Kitts and Nevis on Friday, while the Jamaicans face St. Kitts and Nevis on Sunday. Recall that this was to have been a 4-team group, but the Guyanese pulled out on the eve of the competition. Now, we have some other results in qualifying the first round. Cuba, they beat the U.S. Virgin Islands 3-1. Puerto Rico, 2-1 over Antigua and Barbuda. The Dominican Republic, 3-1 over St. Lucia. And it is instructive that all the home teams won and the away teams all got 1 goal. The Jamaican team, Lance Whittaker, you know them very well because you call some of these guys in the almost said English Premier League, in the Red Stripe Premier League, week in, week out. They are youngsters, and Mariah, some of these guys are some of the next generation of Jamaican footballers that many of the football-loving public expect to elevate to stardom, make that next step to a higher level. And a star-studded team, Tyreek McGee, rated as one of the best midfielders we've produced in recent times. Nick Daly, a striker who has caught the eye of an overseas club. He has left Cavalier now. Jadine White, who we've been told and we see for ourselves, is a tremendously talented goalkeeper. Lambert in midfield. All of these guys were a part of the Jamaican team that couldn't get past Dominica. Is it that, like the Jamaican football-loving public, the Reggae Boys, the young ones, underestimated their opponents because they saw on the paper Dominica?
Yeah, I think so for sure. Coming into this match, Jamaica had everything in their favor. They had home advantage, they had their fans on them side. They also had 5 star-studded players, as you rightfully said, George. But before the match started, Coach Donovan, he said, you know, they were confident going into the match, but they would not underestimate the players. He said he couldn't underestimate them because just like Jamaica, many of the other teams, they had players who were playing for colleges and they got the chance to have international experience. What I saw on the day, though, is the fact that the coach, although he said they would not underestimate them, based on the way he placed the players on the field, they did underestimate them. That format, the 4-2-3-1 format, it didn't work. They were too defensive, and obviously it affected their play throughout the game.
And I'm not sure if being too defensive articulates underestimating the opposition. In fact, it would suggest the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I didn't see the game, but I've had pretty detailed results on the game, George and Mariah. And I just think it's one of those situations where one of these Eastern Caribbean teams in Jamaica wanting to make a mark, wanting to show Jamaican footballers that they put their boots on the same way that they do, and they played a committed game. They played a defensively sound game. Reports are that the Jamaicans missed a lot of opportunities. But these are results that aren't surprising to me, George, because I've said over and over that a lot of these Eastern Caribbean teams have a lot of talent. We had the St. Kitts and Nevis coach and player, Raheem, in here yesterday, and we discussed the sort of feeling that they have coming into a game against the Jamaica team. And the results that we've seen over the years would suggest that there are times that these teams can topple Jamaica. So I didn't get a post-match comment from Donovan Ducky about what went wrong for the team, but the Jamaicans had to come from behind to earn a point from that fixture. And the general feeling is that St. Kitts and Nevis could be a stronger team than the Dominicans are. So the Jamaicans will be playing St. Kitts and Nevis Sunday. St. Kitts and Nevis tackle Dominica on Friday. And this group as it presently stands very, very interestingly poised. I think the Jamaicans should be worried.
We had plenty missed chances too, George. I feel Danny Green, he was really, really unlucky. I know he refers to himself as Neymar. He was really unlucky. The opening goal, he had a chance. Obviously, he missed that. And then in the 33rd minute, he missed the opportunity again. He was really brilliant in 2018 when he made his international debut. And of course, a lot of people were expecting a lot from him. So he didn't step up yesterday.
Well, Daniel Green had a goal disallowed for may have been offside.
Yeah.
What is true is this. It is easy. No, I shouldn't say it that way. In football, you can get away with being defensive, as Dominica did, when you have fit players, well-drilled players who can cover the positions, and when the players have a tactical understanding of the game that allows them to compress space and hold that shape, which is, from my accounts, what Dominica did very well on Wednesday. We've seen in football, there's a vast body of evidence. A talented team against an opponent of lesser talent will not necessarily win because of that superior talent. Because, as I said, if the other team is organized and accepts their limitations and is disciplined and takes their chance when they get it, they could win. And Dominica came close to winning. Not when I say came close, they scored first and they could have held on. But the Jamaicans encountered something that many teams like them of their profile have encountered in the past, when it is that your opponents defend doggedly, they defend with intelligence, as the Dominicans did, and you find it hard to break them down. And then Nikhil Daly, the man who got the equalizer and perhaps spared the blushes of the Jamaicans, if indeed the blushes were spared, he got the equalizer, and then there were two chances that I heard that he got. I didn't see the game, I was at Caymanas Park, so I couldn't reach over in time. That he got two chances after that. So the issue is one of precision. So Coach Duki will tell you that really, he's not going to be hard on his players, because it's not as if Dominica showed something that he didn't expect. They expected them to defend in massed ranks, which they did. But he would say, well, my forward players had the responsibility that when they were put in by our midfielders, when the chances were created for them or when they created themselves, they should have taken it. Because guess what? Nikhil Daly takes two of those chances, it's 2-1. He takes all three, it's 3-1. He took only one, it's 1-1. And that's the difference between winning, losing, and drawing.
Another point I wanted to make is the fact that 5 of the players don't play locally, right? They play internationally, so we call them the star-studded players. I was thinking if it's something similar to the Sunshine Girls, where, you know, when the team comes back together now, they're not really gelling based on the fact that 5 of them are not around the team for most of the time.
Well, that could be an issue as well. The fact is, though, that most of these players are familiar with how they play, and even those 5 that aren't planted in Jamaica, they would not have left long ago, to the extent that those who they are now playing with now are unfamiliar with their game. So it's I see the point that you're making, but with the Sunshine Girls, it's an acute issue.
Yeah.
This not so much so.
Yeah, for this current under-23 team, though, the point you made, Mariah, could be illustrated too by even the choices that the coach had to make. Because under normal circumstances, I would think that Nikhil Daly would have been a preferred starter. And he wasn't, because he's based in Florida at the moment. Daniel Green was given the option because I suspect he's been training with the team and he's been part of the preparation. But to the average football fan who knows both players, you have a choice between Nikhil Daly and Daniel Green. I think most players would choose Nikhil Daly to start, and Coach Duki did not start him, and he started Green instead. Nikhil Daly comes on the second half and scores.
Yep.
The only reason I asked is because when I spoke to the St. Kitts players, they were telling me that, you know, they have played with each other for as long as they remember. From primary school, and remember, they are our next opponent. So it's something to worry about, especially because they only have 2 international players, and they already know how to play as a team. So that's something we'll have to
Well, as I noted, the gap in the foreign players that Jamaica has not playing with the local-based players is not long. It's maybe months.
Yeah.
So it's
a year at most.
So it's almost inconsequential in real terms, if we're being brutally honest. It's not a factor to contribute to a lack of chemistry, but maybe it's something to consider and to look at. So Jamaica, a soft start, a good start by Dominica. They have a point on the board, and then both teams have St. Kitts and Nevis to play in the other game, having, given that Guyana withdrew from the tournament. So a 4-team group is now a 3-team group being played at the Anthony Sporting Sports Complex in Kingston.